Okay. I seem to be weirdly in the wrong spot in my camera. So I'm gonna move it a little bit. That feels a bit better. Welcome. If you are joining today, I see nobody in the chat, so welcome Stream Elements. I'll be streaming to an audience of one chatbot. Today. So I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this thing called vibe coding. And there's even a freaking Wikipedia page about vibe coding. It's an AI-powered programming practice where a programmer surrenders to the vibes and the power of the AI, while ignoring the details of the generated code. After describing a problem in a few sentences, a programmer can watch as the AI codes a custom solution such as an app or website. Vibe coding can feel like sorcery. Vibe coding allows for amateur programmers to produce software with limited features and sometimes imperfectly that previously would have needed a software team. Practice defies the belief of the software industry that software engineering demands great skill. The term was introduced by Andrej Karpathy in February 2025. So he is the co-founder of OpenAI and a former AI leader at Tesla. And he literally coined this phrase last month. And I thought we would try this today. So the goal for today is going to be to not write a single line of code. I'm not even gonna run commands on the terminal. I'm going to let the cursor agent do all the work. I'm going to see what it's doing and comment on what it's doing, but I'm going to let it just do its thing. For the purposes of today's session, I'm using the Learn Plugin Security plugin that I fixed last week. So this is a plugin that I created some time ago with a bunch of security vulnerabilities in it. And the plan is to use this code. But now what I've done is I have added it to my WordPress install, and I removed the badly coded plugin description. So there are no clear, obvious clues that this is a badly coded plugin. I've just added it. So I'm leaving. I'm going to take this out. I want this to be... I don't want it to have any clear information about the fact that it was meant to be a badly coded plugin. I want to see what happens. So I'm not adding... So here's the key thing. I'm not going to add any instructions. I'm not going to set up any requirements files like I've done in the past. I'm just purely going to surrender to the vibes and hope it all works out. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to bring this over so that it takes up more of the screen. I'm going to remove some of this over here. I'm going to let the AI agent do all the thinking, if you will. And I'm going to see what happens. Okay. The task that I'm going to give it is that for the longest time, and this is actually true, I have wanted to take this form submission plugin and add block support. So I've wanted to be able to give it the possibility to render the form in the block editor as opposed to just the shortcode. So I'm going to work on that today. That's the plan. I want to see what happens. So I'm going to just tell it I want to add block support to one of my plugins in this WordPress install. And I'm going to see what questions it asks me. I'm going to respond accordingly. I'm going to try and give it as little information as possible. And I'm going to see what we end up. I think it would be worth trying to commit all the changes a Git repository. So I'm going to ask it to do that for me as well. But I'll see at what point I get into that. But that's the plan for today. I don't know how it's going to work out. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got my plugin. I'm going to open up the plugin files in the editor window so that we have them available. I don't know why Cursor does this. It doesn't, see, it doesn't open the style, sort of opens them independently. I don't understand why it does that. Anyway, so let's start giving it some, and the goal is going to be to give it vague instructions. I don't want to give it clear instructions. I want to give it very vague instructions. The fact that I'm not on camera is bothering me, so I'm going to just fiddle with my camera a bit more. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay. All right. And I'm going to speak to it in sort of human English. So I'm going to say things like "I want" and that kind of thing, just to see what happens. Okay. So I want to add block support to my form submissions plugin. And so what I'm going to add something else. I'm going to say, make it possible for a user to add the form that is rendered by the shortcode to the block editor. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to give it. That's all I'm going to do. Let's see what happens. This is either going to be the longest or the shortest live stream I've ever done. Okay. So now we accept all. Okay, run these commands. I don't want... How do I run the commands? So... Can you run the commands for me? Can you run the commands for me? I can't directly run commands on your system, but I can show you the commands you need to run in your terminal. Why can't you run commands? Don't know how to use terminal. Well, that's stupid. I don't know how to code, so I don't know what I'm doing. So why are you telling me what to do, you stupid thing? Okay, so let's try agent mode. Can you run the commands for me? Let's see if it can figure out what I'm talking about. The commands to build the block code for my form submission plugin. Ooh, now it's going to switch to the plugin. Okay. Okay. Looking good. Okay. Okay, that's probably going to take a while. Always takes a while to install WordPress scripts. So it's interesting that the default composer is the normal mode, can't run commands. So you would have to know to switch to the agent. If you didn't know how to do this, you'd be stumped. So that's interesting. Maybe you could read it in the docs. Fair. Okay. Just getting some issues. Ooh, it's still getting trouble. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Taking forever to do this. Always does. Drives up the wall. Okay, seems to be doing something at least, which is good. Let's just pop this out in the terminal and we can actually see what it's doing. Okay, alright. Let's run that. Okay, I'm going to just close this now. Okay, that looks good. It's getting somewhere. The block has been successfully built. Yay! Okay. Blocks form build directory. Where's the blocks? Oh, there's blocks. Okay, this is a very interesting configuration. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. Generate assets files, minimize the code. Your block is now ready for the editor. The build files are located in the directory. Would you like me to help you? Okay. What is the block called? How do I add it to the editor? Let's ask the agent. What is the name of the block to search when I add it in the editor? So this is the point. I don't want to do any coding today. I want to search through codes. I want to know. So it's just called form. Okay. Cool. Form submissions form, apparently. Okay. Let's go see. So I have my studio demo set up and running. So let's hop in there. Plugin's not activated yet. So let's create a post. I've got coded in mode for some reason. I don't know why. I think I was doing something yesterday. So let's say this is a contact us page. And then let's search for the form. Okay, it doesn't exist, so now we need to tell the agent. Help, doesn't exist. I cannot find a block with that name when I add a new block in the editor. What? Okay, let's just see what that does. Let's see if it suggests. Okay, verify correctly. Build files, checking. Let's see how long it takes until it asks me to check whether the plugin is activated. Okay, it's saying fixing block registration code. Okay. Run the command. So let's accept all. Run the command. Wonder if it said somewhere about activating the block. No. Ah, deactivate and reactivate the plugin. Okay. All right, that's fair. So it has given me that information. So let's go back and do that. Okay, so we've done that. Clear your browser cache. Okay. How do I clear my browser cache? How do I clear my browser? Mac, Chrome, Command Shift Delete. Okay, well I'm on Mac and Chrome, so I'll do that. Okay. So it's Command Shift Delete. It didn't seem to do anything. I'll just do it the way I know how to do it, so okay. So the plugin is activated. Let's go back into the posts. Let's go back to the contact us page. Let's go see if we can add a form. Hey, there's the form submissions form. Cool. That actually looks pretty solid. I'm going to check if there's any errors. There don't seem to be any errors. Oh, just refresh this page. Okay, there's something else. That I think is something else. So let's add the form. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Ooh, getting some warnings. Must support AVI version 2. Okay. It's a warning, it's not an error, not the end of the world, but interesting. Okay, so let us save the draft. And let us view the page. And let's see if it submits. So let's say, oh yes, I need to... Okay, let's go back to the dashboard. Right, let me open the dashboard in a new tab. And let's go to the Loon admin page. Okay, there are no submissions yet. Page not found. Okay, that's to be expected. So let's fix that, because one of the other things I've been wanting to do is stop relying on the form success and form error pages. So what would be cool is if it could somehow register, or maybe rather than redirecting, if it could redirect back to the contact us page that has the form on it, redirect to the same page it's currently on, and then show a message above the form. That would be cool. So let's do that. So let's say, can you update the plugin so that when the form is submitted, or we could do it asynchronously and then it shows a message. Let's try that. It submits the data asynchronously. Let's say in the background, because maybe I don't know what asynchronously means. It submits the data in the background and displays error or success messages in place of the contact form. If an error messages above the form. If the submission is successful, then hide the form. Yes. So in the background. Background. Okay. Let's see what that does. Be interesting to see if the Ajax endpoint is secure. Oh, it's using server-side render. Interesting. Ooh. Starting. Whatever Forever says I'm using admin post action for form submissions, then you can simple redirect after submission. Yeah, that's definitely an option. I'm keen to see what the AI tool comes up with. Added Ajax form submission handling, enhance the form display, added new front-end assets, remove the old plugin, remove the old form post action, so we're handling about Ajax. Deactivate the plugin. Keith, I think I missed this last time. It actually gave me some instructions. So deactivate and reactivate the plugin to ensure all changes take effect. Add the form to the page using the shortcode or the submissions form. So you've got to try both of those. Try submitting the form with valid data, invalid email, empty fields. Okay, cool. Submit without page reload, show success message and hide the form, show error messages, validate inputs. Ooh, cool. Look better with the new styling. I like that. So let's accept all of those. Let's just have a quick squiz through and see what. It's still got these form success and error constants. Those aren't needed. Maybe we'll tell it to clean up code later. Setting up the table still there. Okay, front-end assets. Submission form. There's the shortcode. There's the Ajax handler. It's got nonce verification. Kudos. Sanitizing. Kudos. Well done. Render the page admin. That's pretty good. There's the get form submissions. There's the Ajax to delete it. Here's the register blocks. So it's like old school registering the script. It's not wrong, but it's not the way I would do it. Anyway, it's all good. All right, let's see. So let's go back to here, and then let's go back to the contact us page. And let's start by adding the shortcode as a test. So let's start with that. And shortcode block. Okay, I'm going to publish this page now. Form looks a lot better, I have to admit. Let's see what happens. So if we submit without adding anything, it gives us an error. Okay, that's good. If we submit with a name and without an email address, it gives us an error. Good. Let's see what happens if we don't submit an email address. Please fill in all the required fields. Okay, the message is not great because the fields are filled in. So maybe that's a note we can make for our bot. I'm going to open up a new text file. And I'm going to start making notes about things that we want to ask it to do. So make the required field error messages clear. E.g. if someone enters the name. Okay, cool. Probably going to be able to submit email in the name field. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Should it check? I don't know. Hey, Carolina, no problems. It will be recorded, so you can watch it later. I'm trying to see if I can just code without coding today. I'm not doing any setup, no prep, just using the cursor agent. So feel free to watch the recording later, or watch the you can rewatch the stream from the start. I don't mind. Okay, all right, so that worked. That looks good. Let's see if it posted it. Yep, that worked. All right. Now let us add the block instead. So let's delete that. Let's add the form submissions form. Something flashed there. I'm interested to know what that is. Oh, you know what might be a good idea is if I enable debugging after this and see what that does. So let's save that. And let's go and check it out. Okay, so the form looks good. Same submission process. It's rendering basically the same thing. I'm interested to know. jane@gmail.com. Okay, that all looks good. Let's so this all looks fine. I don't have a problem with. Let's see what's happening on this side. There's a bunch of Grammarly things happening there, which I can kill off. In fact, let's just disable Grammarly because it's throwing me out of whack here. Okay, so let's refresh this page. Okay, so I'm getting a warning. Block type must support AVI version 2 to work correctly with use block props. So I'm definitely going to copy that out. I mean, the chances of somebody who doesn't use Dataform. Ooh, that's a brilliant idea. Yes, let's do it. I love you, Carolina. That was a brilliant idea. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, yes, yes. Dataform. If you don't understand why I'm laughing right now, it's because Carolina suggested we use something that is fairly new. And are Dataforms part of WordPress core, or are they part of the Gutenberg plugin? I don't know myself. Dataforms, data views. It's Dataforms, data views. I can't remember. Data views package. Hang on. I'm needing to do something. Is it? I doubt I can find. Exactly. That's exactly why I'm keen to see what happens. Data views. Is it data views or data forms? I think it's. Oh, what's next for data views and data forms? Yeah, okay. So the data. Okay, so the data form API. Here we go. Data form API is Gutenberg 18.8. Is this part of core though? I'll probably need to install Gutenberg. It has been merged. I haven't even explored the data forms API or the data views API. So I don't even know. Oh, so you're saying use data forms for the actual form? Oh, interesting. I was thinking data views for the admin view. So I've got this little admin page, and I was thinking of using data views for that. That I haven't actually even touched the data forms yet. Interesting. I think I'm going to use data views for the admin because I haven't touched data forms yet. And I have no idea what's going on there, but I have seen some data view stuff, and I think that would work well for the admin. So I think I'm going to do that instead, if you don't mind. But that's a brilliant idea. Just want to make sure something here, because I feel like data views is new enough that they are docs, but also new enough that the agents, the LLMs might not have all the information. So I think let's do that. Okay. I'm going to make a note of that quickly. Data views for the admin view. Okay, let's leave that there. The other thing I want to do is I need to go back and find that error now. I want to fix this error. So let's stick that there. Okay, so let's give it these three things. What's interesting is, notice this as well. The edit view and the front end view don't look the same. I don't like that. So I want to make sure that the edits and they look exactly the same. So let's fix that as well. Make sure that when the form is rendered in the block in the editor, it looks this same as the block front end. So let's fix these one at a time. I wasn't committing code earlier, so meh. Maybe I should do that now. So let's start by doing that. So let's say, can we initialize and commit these changes to a local Git repository? Okay, so let's accept that. Let's run that. Interestingly enough, Elliot Richmond, if you know Elliot, is a plugin developer in the UK, I think it is. He's busy experimenting with doing all of this via voice through Whisper, which is really interesting. I'm still doing this, using the agent, typing it all up. But I'd love to try and make it. But then the problem is, every time I talk on the live stream, it's going to mess things up. So, okay. Git repository initialize, files being committed, created git ignore, initialize repository, added all files, all of the files. Okay, great. You can now track your changes using that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's stop there. Got the initial commands, and let's start with these one by one, and then we'll commit them as we go. Looks the same as the block on the front end. This is probably going to add something to... Oh, now it's creating a specific style sheet. Okay. All right. Update the block JavaScript files, include proper editor controls and styling. Ooh, now it's going crazy. Ooh, now it's doing kinds of fun stuff. I like it. Okay. Update the plugin's main file to include the editor styles and ensure proper block registration. Okay. Now it rebuilds the block. Ooh, and it's committing the changes. That's impressive. I have to say, that's impressive. Okay. So, made several improvements, created the editor CSS, updated blocks JavaScript, updated the plugins block registration, it's added all kinds of dependencies, deactivate and reactivate, clear your browser cache, add the form to the page. You should now see how it all looks. Okay. So I'm not going to deactivate and reactivate. It should just work. Let's refresh this. and see what it does. It's probably gonna... it's not doing what I expect it to. Okay, so let's remove it from there. Let's open up console. See what console's doing. Okay, that's still that error. That's fine. Let's clear the browser cache. Actually, let's save this page first. I wanted to actually do this with hot reloading enabled, but I never got around to setting it up before today's live stream. So maybe before next week I'll do it. So let's refresh that. Okay, let's add... I can turn this off. I'm busy in mobile mode for some reason. Don't know why. Let's add the form. Okay, it doesn't look like I expected to. It's still showing this version 2 error. It's also showing another error now. Select control is deprecated. So it's using really old code. And it's definitely not rendering the block. Ooh, it broke the front end. It completely broke the front end. Oh, that's just beautiful. That's just too beautiful. Okay, cool. So hey, cursor, stuff's going wrong. So let's tell you what's going wrong. So the block is not displaying on the front end. It's too funny. This is vibe coding, folks. We're just letting cursor do its thing. This is vibe coding. And this is why vibe coding doesn't generally work. I've definitely been experimenting a lot with this stuff since the beginning of the year, since before I started live streaming, and I've definitely had issues like this, where it just breaks stuff. I've built a bunch of apps, I've built a bunch of plugins. It goes well up to a point, and then it just starts freaking out and breaking things. And it's fun to watch, but it reminds me that it's not quite perfect yet. It's not quite able to do what somebody who understands how these things works and can think through it logically and can look at what it's doing. As I've said on a previous stream, this often will suggest stuff that is not necessary, and then in doing so would break things. Added proper API version 2 to the block registration. We're going to chat about API version 2 in a second. So let's see. Let's see what is happening. So let's remove it. Save this. Let's refresh. I love watching it fail miserably. It is certainly very fun. Form. Okay, so that looks better already. The block is at least rendering the way it's supposed to in the editor, so that's a step forward. I'm still getting some warnings, but that's fine. At least the block is rendering. So let's save, and let's preview, and the block is rendering. Excellent, okay. So block rendering is now fixed, yay. Let's check that it still submits. Submission has been received. Let us check the settings page. No, it's in tools. Okay, so that's still working. Good. All right, we have fixed our bug. Excellent. I still feel like there's something happening here. I don't know if it's related to these errors. I think these violations are something else. I don't think this is something I'm doing. And I'll tell you why I think that, because if I take the block off the page and I save it and I refresh it. Oh, maybe oh no, there you go. See that block editor violation. This is something else. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a WordPress issue or something else that I've installed. But that's not related to what I'm doing. So that I can ignore. When I add my block, it seems to do something funny when it renders. It might be related to the errors that are coming up. So let's fix those errors first. The API 2 error is gone. that's because it's been explicitly set to API version 2. But now I'm getting this error. So let's see if I can give it this this message and do anything about it. Did it commit the last lot of code? No, this time I didn't commit the code. Did you see that? The previous time it did, this time it didn't. Commit these changes to Git. So it doesn't remember. See, that's what's important about this Cursor stuff, this AI stuff. It doesn't have memory, so it doesn't remember. Oh, we did it last time. Do it again. Every single time you're creating a request, it's like it's a brand new brain. So that's what's important to remember when working with these tools. You need to check it. You need to check what it's doing. You need to give it more direct instructions. Now it's doing git logs and all kinds of stuff. This is so fun to watch. Okay. Now let's give it the error. I am seeing a warning in the browser console. So it's in the index.js. Okay. That seems okay. What is interesting is it's rebuilding you using Bold. Which, if you were developing, you would just run the development server. So this is doing that for you, just running the command every time, which is interesting. I wonder if it can't run a watcher. Now it's remembering to commit the change. Probably will forget the next time. It's probably remembering because I asked it to the previous time. Maybe it'll remember. Let's find out. Okay. Let's see if we still get the error. Okay, let's add the block. Okay, error's gone. That's excellent. It does this weird thing. There's like a weird border thing happening, and then when I click outside the page, it goes away, but maybe... Oh, that's probably because I'm selecting the block. Go away, one password. Okay, so I think that's probably fine. So that's probably fine. Okay, cool. So that's one thing down. We're getting to data views, folks. We're getting to data views. Okay, this seems to be gone now, which is excellent. Make the required field error messages clearer. Let's do that one. So I'm kind of... Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to get your name right, but it's Tidushin Atlantis. I'm kind of building forms, but I'm kind of building blocks for a form submission plugin that I had some code for. And I'm trying to see if I can build it without touching the code or touching a command line, just letting the cursor agent do everything for me. Literally writing the code, committing the code, running any build steps. I'm letting it do all the work. We've built it. It broke itself. We fixed the break. We're now sort of testing and seeing improvements that we want to do, and I'm giving it information about improvements. So that's kind of where we're at. Thanks for joining. So what we're fixing now is, let me show you that. I can't show you that. It's going to start fixing it. But basically, when you enter a name in the email field, it just says ensure all the fields are required. It doesn't detect that it's an email and give you some kind of email warning. So I'm trying to see if it'll do something better there. I'll improve better client-side validation. Good. Okay. So let's accept. I'm just accepting everything it does. I'm not really looking at the code. If you want to see the code, I do plan on submitting this to a public GitHub repository. If you want to comment on the code and say it's rubbish, one of one of the things that I would love to do in a future stream is submit issues in a GitHub repository that folks from the live stream have created about bugs in the code or issues with the code or whatever, and see how the cursor agent does it. So once we create the repository at the end of the stream, if that's something you want to spend some time on and find an issue, I would love to be able to just literally like give it the link to the issue and say this is the problem and then fix it. So yeah, that would be a very cool thing to do in a future stream. Okay, it's made a bunch of changes. Let's run the command to build or commit. Oh no, it's committing. Hey, it's committing. Well done. It remembered to commit. Let's see how that goes. I went to find my cell phone because I didn't know where it was. Okay, enhance form HTML, JavaScript validation, enhance the CSS. Okay, and it committed it, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it did commit it. I am just checking. Okay. Cool. So let's see what that looks like. So let's remove form, save, refresh. Let's see what the errors look like. Some of them we expect, some of them should be gone now. Let's add the form. Okay, that violation stuff I was getting earlier. This error I need to fix. I think this is the site icon that's missing. I'll fix that later when I get a chance. Let's add the form. Okay. Ooh, the form looks slightly different now. That's fine. We are really. What's the word? Not releasing. Succumbing? No, that's the wrong word. When you let go of all control. Blast, can't think of the word. But anyway, we're just accepting whatever the plugin does, whatever the code editor does. All right, let's see. So let's go name. Ooh, enter a valid email address. Okay, that would be a valid email address, I guess. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I'll give it to you. I'm pretty sure you can submit, you can turn off those features in HTML5. I don't know how to do that though, but at least it's checking. Submission has been received. That's good. Let's see if it actually has received the submission. It's looking good. It's looking good. We're not getting any errors anymore. Relinquish. Yes, thank you. To Dushan Atlantis, relinquish. We are relinquishing. No, relinquish. Relinquishing control. Relinquishing control to the cursor agent. There's another word I want to use, but I can't think of it. Anyway, relinquishing controls probably. Now I'm going to need to relinquish control. One word. There's another word. There's a surrender. That's the word I was looking for. We are surrendering to the AI agent. That's the word I was looking for. Seeding. But thank you to Dushan for getting me there. All right, so cool. Okay, we have plugin. We have plugin that does things. I'm really not liking this red border, so let's remove it. Let's remove the red border. I added that as part of the original plugin for some reason. I can't remember why, but let's just get rid of it. And then data views, data views, data views. So for those who have joined, my friend Carolina suggested we use data form for the form. I don't have enough experience with data form yet, so I'm not even sure how to tell it to use data form. But there is something called data view, which is something that was released in WordPress recently. And so we're thinking of taking the admin page and rewriting that to use data view. I'm looking forward to see what happens there. So I'm going to, here's data views. I'm not going to give it the link to the doc, but I'm going to keep the doc open. And I'm just going to tell it to use the data views package to render the admin page. And I want to see what happens. Okay. Ooh, did it commit the last changes? Yes, it did. Okay, excellent. So let's accept all of these to remove the red. Let us run the command. It's committing the changes. Good. Well done, bot. Good job. Why does that commit take so long? Oh, did I have to accept it? Oh, no, what's going on there? Okay, it's removed the border style, added padding to the base form class, kept the blue border option for those who want it. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. So let's go back into here. I'm going to just refresh this now. Let's see what it's doing. Okay, that looks good. Oh, what was that? Was that? Oh no, that was just the error. Let's have a look here. Okay, that's much better. I mean, we could style it better, but that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want the border. I want to just fix the site icon quickly. This is completely unrelated to to the live stream, but it bugs me that the site icon is not working. So I'm going to just use one of my pretty water pictures. I wonder if, yeah, I've only got the pretty water picture, so I'm going to set that as the site icon. Why did that not work? Did it not? Okay, let's just upload files. So I have this pictures directory and I have a bunch of sample images, and I'm just going to grab all of them out of here, upload them all. Ha! Let's choose that dude. We'll let these finish. Anyway, while that's going, let's start telling Cursor to do some data views. Okay, so how best to describe this in a simple way? Use the new data views package to render the admin result form results page using a data view. I think that feels generic enough, but direct enough. In other words, what it needs to use. Let's see what it does. Update the admin page, add the necessary scripts and styles, set up the data view configuration. So I do have a Cursor rules file. That's the one thing I did start with. It's actually not a Cursor rule files. I've just set it up in Cursor. But I didn't start with any, and I started with the base plugin code, which was a short code which rendered the form and submitted the form. But that's it. I didn't start with any other instructions file or requirements file. I've literally been typing like I'm doing now. I wanted to work with existing code to see how it handled existing code. Because I know it can handle from scratch. It can generally work from scratch. So I wanted to see what it did with sort of existing code. Okay. Apparently, that's done now. I don't know if I believe that. But apparently... Oh my word, look at that. It's embedding jQuery code inside the main plugin render edit. That's beautiful. We're vibe coding, folks. We're doing it. We're just embedding a script tag inside a render admin page callback function inside the main plugin file. That's about the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. When I say beautiful, I mean awful. Okay. Alright. Let's see if it worked. Let's see if it worked. So I've updated the page to use data views. Done a bunch of things. Let's see if it worked. Nope! Let's have a look at the browser console. Error, error. Uncaught error. Cannot find jQuery version read properties of data view. Oh, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Now, do we give it a link to the doc? Or do we tell it that data views are a WordPress package and not a jQuery thing? Well, it kind of is using data views here. I think we give it the error. I think we give it the error, and then we see what happens. I think we give it all of this. Okay. Let's do this. That didn't work. What was that? Oh, that was... I must have hit a keyboard combination. I am seeing the following in the browser console. Whether somebody who doesn't know how to code would know how to open up the console. I apologize for the confusion. It seems the data view package isn't available as I initially thought. Now it's just going to use WP list table. I don't want it to use WP list table. Is data views part of core? Okay, so this is August 2024. WordPress core is using data views. Looks like this should be doable. I'm guessing if you tell it there's a WordPress editor package and not the link, it'll figure it out. I did that the other day with another package. Could try that. We could try that. So now it's gone off. Now, you see, now this is where this has gone off and done a whole other thing. I don't want WP list table. I want data views. So let's say that. Let's say reject all. I don't want to use list table. I want to use the WordPress data. Is it data views? Let me just check the doc. WordPress data views package. Let's see what it does. Data views is I want to use the WordPress data views package. Now, it's very possible that this package is so new that the LLMs just don't have information about it. So let's see. You're right, let's use the data views package. First, we need to install it. Okay. I don't know if that's required, but okay. Don't think I have Gutenberg plugin installed. Let's just set this as the side icon quickly. Let's click this guy out. I want his head. I just want his head. There we go. Done. Just check my plugins. Yeah, I don't have Gutenberg installed. So, okay, build configuration. Okay, plugin to use in your admin table. Let's see how this goes. Holding the admin table, running the command. Ooh, errors! WordPress DB package is still experimental and not yet available as a standalone package. Okay, so we're gonna have to give it some documentation now, I think. Because as far as I can tell, data views has shipped. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's part of it is shipped. I feel like some of it has shipped. Okay, let's give it the documentation. See if we can give it some documentation. If you read this doc and this tutorial, perhaps you can figure it out. Okay. Well, I love it when it does this. Looking at the documentation you shared, we might want to make a few more improvements to better match the recommended patterns. Do you want me to make those improvements as well? Let's say yes. Let's see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen. It's either going to explode or it's going to fall over. Okay, it's done a whole bunch of stuff. It's added a proper Actions API implementation, enhanced field configuration, whatever that means, added proper view state management, improved search functionality. Did we even have search functionality? Remove the manual click event handler. Okay, let's go see what we've got. Nothing. Oh dear. Okay, let's see if we can fix that. Oh, it's just going wild. Ooh, errands. No, I don't want to use... Oh, now it's actually modifying to use the version that comes bundled with WordPress core. Okay. That's what I want you to do in the first place. I mean, I hope it's a eureka moment. I hope the AI had a moment and it can actually figure out its own four-letter word starting with an S that I don't like to say on live streams. Still getting some errors. Well, warnings. Maybe warnings are fine. Warnings are probably fine. Okay. Let's see if this worked. Make sure you're running a recent version of WordPress that includes the data view package in core. Well, I'm using 6.7.2, so I mean, I don't think you can get... Nope. 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 It ain't working. It ain't working. Well, there's no more errors, but I don't see the form submissions. Okay. There are no more console errors, but I don't see the form submissions. Let's just check and make sure there are submissions in the table. So I built a little SQLite viewer for Studio using Cursor, in case you're wondering. So I just want to check if the table, form submissions, there it is. Okay, so there are definitely records in the table. Cool. So let's tell Cursor there are no form submissions on the admin page. This is always fun to me. It adds console logging and then asks me to check what shows up in the console. I would expect it to be able to do better debugging internally, but hey, maybe, I mean, that's the way we do stuff, I suppose. That's the way I often do things. Oh, it's going wild. It's like loading primitives and internationalization and going crazy. I mean, maybe that's needed. I have no idea. I have no idea if all that's needed. It's possible. Okay. Added console logging, updated PHP scripting queuing, refresh the admin page and check your browser console. Let me know if the console logs show and I can help further diagnose the issue. Okay. Sweet. So let's open up the console and let's refresh the page. Nothing logging to the console. Nothing logging to the console when I view the admin page. You're correct. Nothing is logging to the console. It does suggest that our JavaScript file isn't being loaded properly. You are correct, sir. I definitely had some moments like these in my early days of AI coding where, and especially when it was somewhere where I didn't have knowledge. So I think it was like a SPA that I was building or a desktop app or something. I was busy building in something that I didn't have knowledge of, and I was just hoping that it would figure out its own stuff by whatever information I was giving it. Most times I generally had to go into the code and try and figure it out myself and then give it some suggestions. Clear cache, refresh admin, check your console and your WordPress debug log. Ooh, let's check the WordPress debug log. So I have another little app for that I built with Cursor called WP Debug. Let us open up that. Come on. Where's my debug app? There we go. Let's select Studio demo site. Okay, I think these are old errors. 7th March, automatic themes updating. That's all fine. So let's clear the log and let's network tab to see if the admin table file is being loaded. Okay, I can certainly do that. Okay, so let's check the debug log. Nothing seems to be 404. Admin, what is it? Admin-table.js. Admin-table.js. Admin-table.js is not being enqueued. That seems to be the problem. I don't see any network issues, but I don't see it being enqueued. Okay. It does not look like admin.js is being loaded. However, there are no 4 errors. I feel like this is the problem. I don't think there is that hook. I think that's the problem. Let's dive into that quickly. Okay, let's see. Now, this is one of the situations where I'm pretty sure if I got stuck in, I'd be able to figure it out. And this is where I start getting frustrated with the AI tools, because it starts like almost guessing, if you will. I mean, it's not actually guessing, but it's almost like it's guessing. It can't actually go and debug the code and figure out where the problem is. So this is where generally when I'm coding with the tool, this is where I start losing interest, because I start getting frustrated. So my plan is to go until at least the next 15 minutes. I usually set aside 2 hours for these things, but I start losing steam after about an hour and a half. So hopefully within the next sort of 15 minutes, this agent can figure out what's going on. Because I'm starting to lose interest, to be honest. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay, uncalled reference, WP is not defined. What it's going to do with that, who knows? It should know how to check which scripts are included. Absolutely, it should. It should have some way of checking that. But I think that's the key thing, is like it doesn't have reasoning. So it doesn't have an understanding of how to check that. It can generate code to enqueue scripts because it can just copy paste code from documentation, but it doesn't have the understanding to know what that's doing and how that works. So I have a feeling this is going to be an epic fail. And so I want to thank you, Carolina, for sharing this idea with us, because it does kind of prove the point. And the point that I am trying to make from these sessions, and I submitted a talk about this to WordCamp Europe, and I really hope they accept it, because these are the kind of conversations I want to have in that talk. I want to share what goes wrong and how it can go wrong and why it goes wrong, because I don't want folks to get the wrong idea about this. You know, yes, it's a good tool to use. Yes, learn it, use it, incorporate it into your work, but don't rely on it. No matter what YouTube says, anyone can't build anything. Exactly. 100%. I'm going to, Carolina, with your permission, I'm going to catchphrase that as like our AI coding phrase. No matter what YouTube tells you, it is not replacing somebody who understands what's going on and can debug complicated issues. I mean, I was looking at some of the code earlier and I was like, so exactly, it's amazing, but if you don't understand the subject, it's not really that useful. Okay, so it's simplified the scripting queuing, it's updated the JavaScript initialization. Let's see if it's fixed it yet. Nope. Oh, what an epic fail. Really. There's no error log. There's nothing happening in the errors. It's just not working. And that's probably because it just doesn't have the relevant context. It cannot solve this problem. So folks, I am going to, yes. Tradition says a fitting way to end, perhaps. I think that is exactly what I was thinking. I think that is an extremely fitting way to end this live stream. And the important rule, the important lesson, or the important bit of understanding I want people to take away from this, and all of these live streams, is it can get you so far. It can get you 50 to 75% of the way there. It can do a lot of scaffolding. It can do a lot of grunt work. One of my favorite things, let's commit this code while I find something I want to show you all the other day. I might still have it on my laptop. Please commit. Why do I saying please? Commit the changes to the local repo. While I let that do its thing, the other day I was working on a blog post, and I think I've got it here somewhere. I want to show you all. Let's open up VS Code. I'll open up that folder in VS Code quickly. Projects. I don't have it anymore. But essentially, let's open the folder anyway. I'm working on this blog post. Here is the blog post. It'll be published sometime next week. We're over this now. But I hadn't linked up any of the links to different things, to Automattic, to people that I was talking about, whatever. So I used the cursor agent and I said, scan through the doc, find the pronouns, find their URLs, add the URLs to the markdown. That worked brilliantly. One command, one specific task with a specific set of instructions with information that is readily available. Boom, done, happy days. Saves me half an hour because it takes me half an hour to look up all the URLs for this person's Twitter account and this URL over here and that documentation page and pull them all into the doc. But when it comes to more complicated things, when it comes to newer functionality, when it comes to things that there aren't a lot of good examples out there already, you still have to do the work. Okay, let's stick this all in a repository somewhere. If anybody wants to check out the horrendous code over the next few weeks, or the next week or whatever, feel free to comment. Feel free to log issues that you see if you want to debug the thing. I don't know if I do have a form submissions already. Yeah, so let's go AI form submissions. AI form submissions. I can already tell you that the block implementation is not the way I would do it personally. AI generated form submissions plugin. And we'll make it private, public. We'll create the repo. Let's see if I can get... This is something that you have to do manually. Let's see if I can get Cursor to do it for me. So let's say push. Let's say set up the repo to push the local main branch to the public URL there using my SSH key. I think I've got it. I think it should just work. And push the code. Let's see if this will work. But yes, it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to build some basic things, learn from the code. But the problem is, I mean, I'll give you an example. This plugin, this block code right now is not going to be great. So I'm telling you that for nothing. There are better ways to build blocks. So yeah, so just be aware of what it can do, what it can't do. Use it for scaffolding code you maybe do regularly, or using it to give you some sample code to start with. I've done that before. I've used it to generate code to start with, and then I go through the code and I'm like, that's not great. Let's clean it up. Let's read the docs. But it gives me something to start with. But in my opinion, and maybe this is because it's WordPress, and so WordPress is evolving all the time, and there's so much new things. Maybe in other languages and frameworks that are older, that are more stable, it would be better. But it's just not there yet. If I need to ask it to use create block, then I can just as well type in the command. Exactly. Okay, so there's the code, folks. I'm going to share this in the chat. I'll pop it in the description in the YouTube video when I publish the YouTube video as well. Feel free to pull it apart. I mean, that is the whole point of this. Log issues. If I can get like 10 issues that we can work on, maybe not next week, but maybe in future sessions, I would love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to vibe code the fixes, because that kind of does prove a point. It proves that if you have somebody who knows what they're doing reviewing the code, then you can use it to fix the code. So that kind of proves that point a little bit, but it still requires that human intervention, that human understanding of submitting the issues, and knowing what the code should and shouldn't do. So if you have time, if you don't, that's fine. We'll figure out. Maybe I'll spend some time over the next couple of weeks and I'll find some issues and I'll log them. But I would love to be able to come back to this and see if we can actually get this fixed. That's where I'm going to end it now. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to Dushan and Carolina for interacting in the chat. It was great to have folks along with me. You may have noticed that as you interacted with me, I started getting excited because it's fun to know that people are watching and playing the game along with me. Feel free to rip out the code, check it out, and let me know what you think. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a lovely weekend. And I'll see you all next week Friday for probably a follow-up to plugin vulnerabilities. I have another plugin that somebody shared with me that they actually use for a capture the flag challenge. And so I'm interested to see what we can do there. So join me next week for plugin vulnerabilities AI coding version 2. But otherwise, have a great rest of your Friday, rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.